What's going on, guys? Today's going to be a big day. We of course had the Fed meeting, and the market is basically completely expecting no rate cut in this meeting today. However, the market is heavily expecting rate cuts coming up in summer. But we'll talk about expectations of rate cuts. But first we have to talk about this. A state has adopted the Bitcoin standard. New Hampshire governor signs crypto reserve bill into law, and this is the first state to do so. While other states lately have been rejecting these ideas, such as Arizona. Their governor vetoed a bill on May 2, and 2 Florida bills were withdrawn on May 3, among a few others. It was announced on May 6 that New Hampshire would be permitted to invest in cryptocurrency precious metals through this bill. This bill was introduced in January, and this bill will allow the Treasury to use funds to invest in crypto with a market cap of more than 500 billion, meaning Bitcoin. Now that this has happened, now that a state has broken through, we may see others follow. This may sway others more towards the decision of yes rather than no, rather than rejection. And I'll leave this site down below for you. It's bitcoinlaws.io, and it basically keeps you up to date on where they're at in the process, so definitely check it out. And it's not just about US states. Countries are taking notice. Taiwanese lawmaker Ko Ju-chan calls on the state to go crypto or get left behind. And he warned that Taiwan could fall behind globally if it doesn't follow suit, if it doesn't adopt crypto like Bitcoin as part of its financial strategy. We are moving to the digital age. And after the bill for New Hampshire was signed into law, Ko suggested that Taiwan could follow suit, allocate up to 5% of its $50 billion reserve to Bitcoin. And it was actually discovered that Taiwan is actively investigating blockchain technology and digital currency initiatives. The fact that these countries are even looking at Bitcoin shows how far we have come. Most countries, when looking at Bitcoin, they wouldn't even give it the time of day. This article also highlights China. And while there has been no official confirmation of a Bitcoin reserve, China has allegedly hosted private meetings on Bitcoin since the US elections in 2024. They are watching us. These countries don't want to get left behind. This is becoming a race, and we beat them to it. As was mentioned earlier, the Fed meeting is coming up today. The rate hike or rate cut decision, most likely decision, no move at all. 97, almost 100% you could say, chance of leaving rates where they are, with a snowball's chance in hell of getting a 25 basis point cut. You might notice that likelihoods have definitely changed. In the upcoming meeting in June, the market is starting to see that it's more likely of leaving rates current as well. And we now have to move into July to see that a rate cut is the more likely option. However, by the end of the year, the market is still anticipating a good chance of 2 to 3 cuts. Although these odds have slightly changed, these are still the most likely scenarios. But it'll be absolutely crucial to see where inflation goes in that time. What's CPI, PPI, PCE looking like? What's unemployment like? Does unemployment tick up, forcing the Fed to be more likely to cut rates? Long story short, expect no rate cut in this meeting today. I also want to talk about this recent news. BlackRock's IBIT surpassed GLD. IBIT has attracted nearly $7 billion in year-to-date flows for 2025, slightly beating GLD, which recorded about $6.5 billion. And while IBIT has seen more in terms of inflows, its year-to-date return isn't as good as GLD. But that kind of tells a lot. Despite that strong performance, GLD has struggled to retain confidence. Since IBIT's launch, it has accumulated about $44 billion in net inflows, and combining the inflows with Bitcoin's price appreciation, IBIT, in terms of assets under management, has $59 billion in its fund, making it the 11th largest ETF in BlackRock's iShares suite, which is a 400 fund suite. And IBIT's fund from January of 2024 when it launched to October of 2024 has seen $30 billion. And it did this in a record 293 days, which is something that took GLD nearly 5 years to achieve. GLD's current assets under management, $98.6 billion. And this says that analysts believe that IBIT could overtake this $98 billion within the next few years. I would say within about another year. They are already well over halfway there, and it's only been a little over a year since they launched. Bitcoin's golden cross is getting closer and closer and closer. As long as we can keep our gains, as long as we don't tank under these moving averages, I do believe we'll see this golden cross likely this month. This 98,000 is an important wall to break. We keep wicking up to it and just getting rejected. This was an important level, a strong resistance back in February with false breakouts left and right before finally just tanking, using this level and the 50 MA as a resistance. Keep in mind that these moving averages are in fact lagging indicators. They are accounting for recent price moves. the 200 MA is accounting for the last 200 days. Notice how it's a lot more steady despite how much price action Bitcoin has seen. These huge rips and these huge dips, however, the 200 MA stays pretty stable. It is accounting for a longer timeline. It is more smoothed out, essentially. Whereas the 50 MA gets affected by shorter term price swings. And you can see that this recent move has caused the 50 MA to start spiking. I do think we're going to see this golden cross, and like I showed the other day, every time we have seen a golden cross this cycle, it is followed by a massive move. Golden cross here, and golden cross coming very soon in my opinion, which could likely take us to new all-time highs. But let me know what you guys think about that. Do you think we're going to see the golden cross, or do you think the market tanks and it just doesn't come to fruition? I'm expecting the former, not the latter, and I do think we'll see it within this month. But thanks so much for watching, guys. What state do you think will be the next to approve a Bitcoin strategic reserve? I do think we'll see a few more states adopting this strategy before the year ends. And of course, we will also see many, many rejections. You got to take the good with the bad. Not every state will approve this, and we have seen that, obviously. But those that do, I do believe will be heavily benefited in the years to come. And soon that will become apparent to other states that will see this performance from the early adopters. But anyways, thanks as always for watching, guys. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.